or if you are under 13 years of age, then please do not use this service. There are a lot of other great websites for you. Talk to your parents about what websites are appropriate for you. Chances are you're on a YouTube account. And if you're on a YouTube account, that means you agreed to YouTube's terms of service. But what did you agree to? I mean, for all you know, they could have put in there that you're giving away the rights to your firstborn kid. I mean, what if in 10 years YouTube knocks on your door and steals your kid and they're like, hey, you agreed to this? There was once a company that put money in their terms of service and it took weeks for anyone to find it. Like literally no one reads terms of service. But what if YouTube has access to personal information? What if in there you gave them permission to track your location or just, collect your private information, things you didn't even know they could collect? I mean, you don't know. None of us know, which is why I'm going to take it upon myself to read the entire YouTube's terms of service in this video. And at the end, I'm going to give you guys a brief summary of it. So just watch through. You can just listen to me read it. I'm going to help educate you guys. I'm going to let you know if YouTube has rights to your firstborn kid and plans on taking over the world. Because they might be. I'm on to YouTube. I think they plan on taking over the world, and they're using these terms of service to just, so we're just going to get to the bottom of it, okay? All right, number 1, your acceptance. By using or visiting YouTube's website or any YouTube product, software, data, feed, and service provided to you on or from or through YouTube website, collectively the service, you signify your agreement to 1, these terms and conditions, the terms of service, 2, Google's privacy policy found at www.youtube.privacypolicy and incorporated herein by reference, and 3, YouTube's community guidelines found at and also incorporated herein by reference. If you do not agree to any of these terms, the Google privacy policy or the community guidelines, please do not use this service. That's pretty basic. They basically said if you don't agree to the community, their guideline rules, don't use YouTube. I think that's pretty reasonable. Although there may be an attempt to notify you when major changes are made to these terms of service, you should periodically review the most up-to-date version. YouTube may, in its sole discretion, modify or revise these terms of service and policies at any time, and you agree to be bound by such modifications or revisions. Nothing in these terms of service shall be deemed to confer in third-party rights or benefits. Nothing in these terms of service shall be deemed to confer any third-party rights or benefits. Feel like that's important, but no idea what it meant. 2. Service. A. These terms of service apply to all users of the service, including users who are also contributors of the content on the service. Content includes text, software, scripts, graphics, photos, sound, music, videos, audiovisual, combination, interactive features, and other materials you may view on, access through, or contribute to the service. The service includes all aspects of YouTube, including but not limited to all products, software, and services offered via the YouTube website, such as the YouTube channels, the YouTube embedded player, the YouTube uploader, and other applications. The service may contain links to third-party websites that are not owned or controlled by YouTube. YouTube has no control over and assumes no responsibility for the content, private policies, or practices of any third-party websites. In addition, YouTube will not and cannot censor or edit the content of any third-party site. By using the service, you expressively relieve YouTube from any and all liability arising from your use of any third-party website. Basically, if you click a link in the description and it takes you to a porn site, they are not responsible. Accordingly, we encourage you to be aware when you leave the service and to read the terms and conditions and private policies of each other website you visit. YouTube accounts. In order to access some features of the service, you will have to create a YouTube or Google account. You may never use another's account without permission. When creating your account, you must provide accurate and complete information. You are solely responsible for the activity that occurs on your account, and you must keep your account password secure. You must notify YouTube immediately of any breach of security or unauthorized use of your account. Let me title this down. Although YouTube will not be liable for your losses caused by unauthorized use of your account, you may be liable for the losses of YouTube or others due to such unauthorized use. General use of service, permission, and restrictions. YouTube hereby grants you permission to access and use the service as set forth in these terms of service, provided that You agree not to distribute in any medium any part of the service or content without YouTube's prior written authorization, unless YouTube makes available the means for such distribution through functionality offered by the service, such as embeddable player. You agree not to alter or modify any part of the service. You agree not to access content through any technology or means other than the video playback pages of the service itself, the embeddable player, or the explicitly authorized means YouTube may designate. You agree not to use the service for any of the following commercial uses unless you obtain YouTube's prior written approval: the sale of access to the service, the sale of advertising, sponsorships, or promotion placed on or within the service or content, or the sale of advertising, sponsorships, or promotion on any page of an embedded blog or website containing content delivered via the service, unless other material not obtained from YouTube appears on the same page and is of sufficient value to the basis for such sales. Honestly, I have no fucking idea what that means. Prohibited commercial uses do not include uploading an original video to YouTube or maintaining an original YouTube channel on YouTube to promote your business or artistic enterprise. Showing YouTube videos through the embedded player on an ad-enabled blog or website subject to the advertising restrictions set forth above in Section 4.d, or any use that YouTube expressly authorizes in writing. For more information about what constitutes prohibited commercial use, see our frequently asked questions. If you use the embeddable player on your website, you may not modify, build upon, or block any portion of the functionality of the embedded player, including but not limited to the links back to the YouTube website. If you use the YouTube uploader, you agree that it may automatically download and install updates from time to time from YouTube. These updates are designed to improve, enhance, and further develop the uploader and may take the form of bug fixes, enhanced functions, new software modules, and completely new versions. You agree to receive such updates and permit YouTube to deliver these to you as part of your use of the uploader. You agree not to use or launch any automated system, including without limitation, robots, spiders, or offline readers that access the service in a manner that sends more request messages to YouTube server in a given period of time than a human can reasonably produce in the same time period by a conventional online web browser. Notwithstanding the foregoing, YouTube grants the operators of public search engines permission to use spiders to copy materials from the site for the sole purpose and of solely to the extent necessary for creating publicly available searchable indices of the materials, but not caches or archives of such material. Got that, boys? We making sense? My hair's messed up. My hair look better? Hey. YouTube reserves the right to revoke these exceptions either generally or in specific cases. You agree not to collect or harvest any personal identifying information, including account names from the service, nor to use the communication systems provided by the service, e.g. comments, email, for any commercial solicitation purposes. You agree not to solicit for commercial purposes any use of the service with respect to their content. In your use of the service, you will comply with all applicable laws. YouTube reserves the right to discontinue any aspect of the service at any time. 5. Your use of content. In addition to the general restrictions above, the following restrictions and conditions apply specifically to your use of content. The content on the service and the trademark services, marks, and logos on the service are owned or licensed to YouTube, subject to copyright and other intellectual property rights under the law. Content is provided to you as is. You may access content for your information and personal use solely as intended through the provided functionality of the service and as permitted under these terms of service. You shall now not download any content unless you see a download or similar link displayed by YouTube on the service for that content. You shall not copy, reproduce, redistribute, transmit, broadcast, display, sell, license, or otherwise exploit any content for any purpose without the prior written consent of YouTube or the respective licensees of the content. YouTube and its licensors reserve all rights not explicitly granted in and to the service and the content. You agree not to circumvent, disable, or otherwise interfere with security-related features of the service or features that prevent or restrict use of copying or any content or enforce limitations on use of the service or the content therein. You understand that while using the service, you will be exposed to content from various sources and that YouTube is not responsible for the accuracy, usefulness, safety, or intellectual property rights of or relating to such content. You further understand and acknowledge that you may be exposed to the content that is inaccurate, offensive, indecent, or objectionable, and you agree to valve and hereby do waive any legal, equitable rights or remedies you have or may have against YouTube with respect thereunto and to the extent permitted by applicable law. Agree to identify and hold harmless YouTube, its owners, operators, affiliates, licensors, and licensees to the fullest extent allowed by the law regarding all matters related to your use of service. Your content and conduct. As a YouTube account holder, you may submit content to the service, including videos and users' comments. You understand that YouTube does not guarantee any confidentiality with respect to any content you submit. You shall be solely responsible for your own content and the consequences of submitting and publishing your content on the service. You affirm, represent, and warrant that you own or have the necessary licenses, rights, consent, and permission to publish content you submit. And you license to YouTube all patent, trademark, trade services, copyright, or other proprietary rights and to such content for publication on the service pursuant to these terms of service. For clarity, you retain all of your ownership rights in the content. However, by submitting content to YouTube, you hereby grant YouTube a worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free sub-license and transferable license to use, reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works of, display, and perform the content in connection with services in YouTube and its successors and affiliates business, including without limitation for promotion and redistributing parts or all of the service and derivative works thereof in any media formats and through any media channels. You also hereby grant each user of the service a non-exclusive license right to access your content through the service and to use, reproduce, distribute, display, and perform such content as permitted through the functionality of the service and under these terms of service. The above license guaranteed by you and video content you submit to the service terminate within a commercially reasonable time after you remove or delete your videos from the service. You understand and agree, however, that YouTube may retain but not display, distribute, or perform server copies of your videos that have been removed or deleted. The above licenses granted by you and user comments you submit are perpetual and irrevocable. D. You further agree that content you submit to the service will not contain any third-party copyrighted material or material that is subject to other third-party proprietary rights, unless you have permission from the rightful owner of the material or you are otherwise legally entitled to post the material and to grant YouTube all the licensing rights granted therein. You further agree that you will not submit to the service content or other material that is contrary to the YouTube community guidelines currently found at that, which may be updated from time to time, or contrary to applicable local, national, and international laws and regulations. YouTube does not endorse any content submitted to the service by any users or any licensors or any opinion, recommendations, or advice expressed herein, and YouTube expressively disclaims any and all liability in connection with content. YouTube does not permit copywriting infringement activities, infringement of intellectual property rights on the service, and YouTube will remove all content if properly notified that such content infringes on another's intellectual property rights. YouTube reserves the right to remove content without prior notice. Account termination policy. YouTube will terminate a user's access to the service if, under appropriate circumstances, the user is determined to be a repeat infringer. YouTube reserves the right to decide whether content violates these terms of service for reasons other than copyright infringement, such as not limited to pornography, obscenity, or excessive length. YouTube may, at a time, without prior notice and its sole discretion, remove such content or terminate a user's account for submitting such material in violation of these terms of service. Digital Millennial Copyright Act. If you are a copyright owner or an agent thereof and believe that any content infringes upon your copyrights, you may submit a notification pursuant to the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, DMCA, by providing our copyright agent with the following information in writing: a physical electronic signature of a person authorized to act on behalf of the owner of an exclusive right that is allegedly infringed, identification of the copyright work claimed to be infringed upon or multiple copyright works at a single online site, are covered by a single notification or representative list of such works at the site, identification of the material that is claimed to be infringing or to the subject of infringing activities that is to be removed or access to which is to be disabled, and information will be reasonably sufficient to permit the service provider to locate the material, information reasonably sufficient to permit the service provider to contact you, such as an address, telephone number, and if available, an electronic email, a statement that you have good faith belief that the use of the material in the manner contained of is not authorized by the copyright owner, its agent, or the law, and a statement that the information in the notification is accurate and under penalty of perjury that you are authorized to act on behalf of the owner of an exclusive right that is allegedly infringed. You may direct copyright infringement notification to our DMCA agent at 901 Cherry Avenue, San Borno, Cali, 94068. Email copyright@youtube.com. Fax 650-872-8513. For clarity, only DMCA notices should go to the copyright agent. Any other feedback, comments, requests for technical support, and other communication should be directed to YouTube's customer service through https://support.google.com/YouTube. You acknowledge that if you fail to comply with all of the requirements of the Section 5D, your DMCA notice may not be valid. Counter notice. If you thus believe that your content that was removed or to which access was disabled is not infringing, or that you have authorization from a copyright owner, the copyright owner's agent, or pursuant to the law to post and use material in your content, you may send a counter notice containing the following information to the copyright agent: your physical or electronic signature, identification of the content that has been removed or to which access has been disabled, and the location at which the content appeared before it was removed or disabled, a statement that you have good faith belief that the content was removed or disabled as a result of mistake or misidentification of the content, and your name, address, telephone number, and email address, a statement that you consent to the jurisdiction of the federal court in San Francisco, California, and a statement that you accept services of process from the persons who provide notifications of the alleged infringement. If a counter notification is received by the copyright agent, YouTube may send a copy of the counter notice to the original complaining party, informing the person that it may replace the removed content or cease disabling it in 10 business days. Unless the copyright owner files an action seeking a court order against the content provider, member, or user, the removed content may be replaced or access to is restored in 10 to 14 business days or more after receipt of the counter notice at YouTube's sole discretion. Warranty disclaimer. You agree that your use of the service shall be at your sole risk to the fullest extent permitted by law. YouTube's officers, directors, employees, and agents disclaim all warranties expressed or implied in connection with the service and the use thereof. YouTube makes no warranties or representations about the accuracy or completeness of this site's content or the content of any sites linked to the site, and assume no liability or responsibility for any errors, mistakes, or inaccuracies of content. Personal injury or property damage of any nature whatsoever resulting from your access to and use of our service, any unauthorized access to or use of our secure servers, and or any and all personal information and or financial information stored therein, any interception or cessation of transmission to or from our service, any bugs, viruses, Trojan horses, or the likes which may be transmitted to or through our service, may by any third party, and or any errors or omissions in the content, or for any losses or damage of any kind incurred as a result of the use of the content posted, emailed, transmitted, or otherwise made available via the service. YouTube does not warrant, endorse, guarantee, or assume responsibility for any product or service advertised or offered by a third party through the service, or any hyperlinked services or featured in any banner or any other advertising, and YouTube will not be a party to or in any way be responsible for monitoring or transactions between and third-party providers of products or services. As with the purchase of product or services through any medium or in any environment, you should use your best judgment and exercise caution where appropriate. Limitation of liability. In no event shall YouTube, its officers, directors, employees, or agents be liable to you for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, punitive, or consequential damages whatsoever resulting from any errors, mistakes, or inaccuracies of content. Personal injury or property damage of any nature whatsoever resulting from access to and use of our services, any unauthorized access to or use of our services, secure servers, and or any and all personal information or financial information stored therein, any interpretation or sessions of transmission to or from our services, any bugs, viruses, Trojan horses, or like which may be transmitted to or through our services by any third party, and or any errors or omissions in any content, or any loss or damages of any kind occurred as a result of your use of any content posted, emailed, transmitted, or otherwise made available via the services, wherever based on warranted contradiction, tort, or any other legal theory, and wherein or the company is advised of the possibility of such damages, the foregoing limitation of liability shall apply to the fullest extent permitted by the law and the applicable jurisdiction. You specifically acknowledge that YouTube shall not be liable for content or the defamatory offense or illegal conduct of any third party, and that the risk and harm or damage from the foregoing rests entirely with you. The service is controlled and offered by YouTube from its facilities. Oh gosh, I should kill myself. In the United States of America, YouTube makes no representations that the service is appropriate or available for use in other locations. Those who access or use the service from other jurisdictions do so at their own volition and are responsible for the compliance with local law. Indemnity. To the extent permitted by applicable law, you agree to defend, identify, and hold harmless YouTube, its parent corporation, officers, directors, employees, and agents from and against any claims, dangerous obligations, losses, liability, costs, or debt, and expenses, including but not limited to attorney fees arising from your use and access to the service, your violation of any term of the service, your violation of any third-party right, including without limited any copyright property or privacy rights. Any claim that your content caused damage to a third party, this defense and indemnification obligation will survive these services and use of the service. Ability to accept terms of service. You affirm that you are either more than 18 years of age or an emancipated minor or possesses legal parental or guardian consent, and are fully able to competent to enter into the terms, conditions, obligations, affirmations, representations, and warranties set forth by the terms of service, and to abide and comply with these terms of service. In any case, you affirm that you are over the age of 13, as the service is not inherited for children under 13. Or if you are under 13 years of age, then please do not use this service. There are a lot of other great websites for you. Talk to your parents about what websites are appropriate for you. YouTube doesn't want you to use the site if you're 13. Wow. These terms of service and any other rights and license guaranteed thereunder may not be transmitted or signed to you, but may be assigned by YouTube without restrictions. General, you agree that the service shall be deemed solely based in California, and the service shall be deemed a passive website that does not give right to personal jurisdiction over YouTube, either specifically or in general. In jurisdictions other than California, these terms of service shall be governed by interval substantive laws of the state of California, without respect to its conflict of law principles. Any claim or dispute between you and YouTube that arises, in whole or in part, from the service shall be decided exclusively by a court of competent jurisdiction located in Santa Clara County, California. These terms of service, together with the private policy notice that and other legal notices, if any provision of the terms of service is deemed invalid by court or competent jurisdiction, the invalidity of such provision shall not affect the validity of the remaining provisions of the terms of service, which shall remain in full force and effect. No waiver of any terms of service or service shall be deemed a further or continuing waiver of such term, waiver of such right or impression. YouTube reserves the right to amend these terms of service at any time without prior notice, and it is your responsibility to review these terms of service for any changes. Your use of service following any amendment of these terms of service will signify your assent to acceptance of its revised terms. You and YouTube agree that any cause of action arising out of or related to the service must commence within 1 year after the case of actions occurs. Otherwise, such case of action is permanently barred. That is YouTube's terms of service. Alright guys, so I just finished reading the terms of service, and basically All it said was, if you see something that's screwed up on YouTube, they're not responsible. You can't upload copyrighted material. You must be at least 13 years old. If you're 13 and have parental consent, you can use YouTube. But if you're not at the age of 13, doesn't matter if you have your parents' consent. They don't want you on their site. That was basically it. Basically, YouTube was just saying they're not responsible for any content you view on the site, and they're not responsible if you use any third-party add-ons if something happens. They're also not responsible, if data leaks or anything. Basically, anything that could occur to you through using YouTube, they're 100% not responsible for, and it is up to you to choose what you watch. And if you see something you don't want to see, it's your fault. And you can't upload copyrighted content. That's basically what I just read in a nutshell. Hopefully you enjoyed. And let's play rock, paper, scissors. If you lose, you have to follow my Instagram. Okay? I know you lost. Go follow my Instagram. It'll be linked down below. Hopefully you guys have a good day. And shout out to Hannah. She got first comment on my last video. I give first comment on every video a free gift card. So make sure you turn on notifications and see if you can get it next time. Peace.